And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Hello, my internet fans. Welcome to this season preview almost. It's our pre-show to the main course, as we have invited the dads on wrestling to join us for a very special episode. Today in the sports bar, we are talking our top 10 sports movies. Of course, we know the dads on wrestling have the monopoly locked up on that, so we at the end of our season 3 premiere, or at the end of our season 3 show, we decided let's do a show, let's do a mashup, let's bring in the family and talk about our top 10 sports movies. Basically, what we all did, we all put a list together of the top 10. Renegade put the list together. He looked at all the movies and compiled our group list, which is what we are going to present today. We each have an honorable mention. We hope you enjoy. Also, remember, if you want to throw in your thoughts, go ahead and comment. And by all means, super chat.
It's as simple as that.
Simple.
Let me just say real quickly before we dive into the list here, how difficult it was to really kind of bring the lists together in a cohesive way, because only one movie was agreed on by all four of us, which kind of automatically put it as the number one movie because it's the only movie that was on all of our lists. Two of the movies were on three of our lists. So trying to go by where they were placed on those lists determined whether it became two or three. The other 7 movies only appeared on 2 of our respective lists. So again, trying to go through and figure which one deserved the better spot out of some of those movies. It was a tumultuous task, but I think we have a really well thought out, put together list here. And we hope that you enjoy these movies as much as we all do.
Also, the definition of a sports movie is where the sport is the predominant factor. It's not a movie that has a sport in it. It's where the sport is in the plot. For an example, I said, is Forrest Gump a sports movie? No. Forrest Gump is a drama that features football.
As well as ping pong.
As well as ping pong. Yes, ping pong is a sport. And also, of course, we had a smaller discussion, what defines a sport. Jeff, you want to handle that part?
Yeah, it came down to, is it about competitive athletics or is it just competition? Because gaming has become a prevalent sports discussion in recent years, but gaming, other than people that get worked up into a frenzy and have, mild heart attacks and strokes over gaming, you're not really athletically exerting oneself.
Right.
Is what we were going for.
Unless you're playing on the Wii.
Card games.
Right.
Right. Poker, blackjack. Are those sports?
Right.
There's World Series of Poker held every year in Las Vegas, broadcast on ESPN.
I was going to say.
Does that qualify it as a sport?
Yeah. We had to really narrow it down. And luckily, there haven't been a whole lot of movies about World Series of Poker. Poker, yes. Card games, absolutely.
Yeah.
But World Series of Poker? No.
Because I seriously was going back and forth in my head about 21.
Yes.
Jim Sturgis, Lawrence
That was
Fishburne,
a good one. That was a good one.
All about blackjack.
Yep.
But playing blackjack is not a sport. It's not
a competition.
Sport. It's a competition.
Yeah. It is a competition. It is not an athletic, a athletically heavy sport.
There we go.
Is what we were trying to define it as.
Would Michael Myers count? Halloween count as a sport movie? Because I mean, there's definitely some sport in him hunting down and killing the people.
I think Laurie Strode would say yes.
It's a matter of how loose you want to define the term as.
Exactly.
We're all professional wrestling fans. We're predominantly a wrestling channel.
Yes.
Would Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler count? Because wrestling is predetermined. So while it is sport, athletic competition, it is sports entertainment.
Yes.
So, and yes, the Wrestler was heavily considered, at least by me in my thought process, and it came up on several lists. So that I was going through to try to narrow it down, because a lot of us have a lot of favorite sports movies and a lot of different sports. So it's like, hey, geez, what do we do? But
I gotta say, I think I'm proud here because we kind of have a nice gambit represented. We've got figure skating, we've got hockey, we've got basketball, we've got martial arts, we've got boxing, baseball. We've got pretty much a little bit of everything in here. So
it's good stuff.
It's good.
We're starting with
right in. Number 10 on our list is Cars from 2006, representing auto racing, NASCAR. He is Speed. He is Lightning McQueen. He is trying to go for that Piston Cup.
Ka-chow.
And of course, some of NASCAR's biggest stars lent their voice to this. Of course, one being the King, Richard Petty, Bob Costas, who was a NBC sports analyst. It's not always about making a left turn, because sometimes you have to turn right to turn left. If you know, you know.
That's right. The railroad at work does that now too.
That's right.
Cars.
Cars was a good one. I was glad to see it pop up on more than one list. It did show up on my list.
Yep.
I definitely feel like the initial outing is more of a racing movie than either 2 or 3, even though 2 does have the World Cup.
Right.
I'm just not a huge fan of that one because Lightning McQueen, the racer, kind of takes a backseat to Mater, and it becomes a Mater story.
Very much so.
So you kind of forget that it is actually, in some ways, more of a racing movie because of the whole World Grand Prix.
Right.
But because Mater is the focal point instead of Lightning, it's just like, give me the original.
Yes.
I'll agree with that.
The original is what primarily Cars Land was based on, which is why there's the Radiator Springs Racers and all the things contained in the first movie. And two of us in this room being former or current cast members, we got to see that stuff all the time, and it's still a major part of the lexicon of the company, and general fans of that brand as far as Disney and as far as racing. Like you said, Mikey, a lot of NASCAR people were in that, and every time I hear the King Richard Petty, I think of Kurt Hennig and the West Texas Rednecks, and because I like NASCAR racing, damn it, Richard Petty's still the king, and he is, by God.
Yes, he is.
So always there will never be another Richard Petty, and some would say thank goodness. But yes, very cool lead off. I like that.
Good race.
So go ahead.
My turn. Yeah. Okay. So now coming in at number 9 was a movie that focuses on everybody in this room's one of their favorite sports, and a pivotal moment in that sports history and in American history. Number 9 was Miracle, starring Kurt Russell. I'm sorry, Major League, because I messed up apparently. I was told Miracle was next, but that's okay.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so Major League it is. I've never seen Major League, so I'm gonna dance around this until somebody else takes this one.
You're in the production studio, right? You can see the image order. So like I was gonna do. I was supposed to introduce this one. We're live, pal.
We're live, pal. It's okay. That's all right.
So coming in at number 9, even though it didn't appear on my list, I am still going to be talking about Major League.
Okay, good, because I haven't seen this damn thing.
You haven't?
And that is a fail, Meacham. That is
I know. See,
the reason I didn't put this on my list is because I was already, like I told them behind the scenes, I was trying to limit the repetitiveness of sports.
Yes.
I wanted to try to get at least one of every major sport I could think of on my list. And then, if space permitted, throw in an extra for some sports. So my baseball picks were both ones that are going to come up later. I'm not going to say them.
Right.
Don't want to give too much spoilers out there.
That's right. Y'all got to watch.
Wait and sit through this.
That's right.
Major League is one that I do love. And while I do technically prefer the sequel to the original, I do because the original for me is more of a drama with pieces of comedy, because it definitely centers more on Tom Berenger's Taylor.
Yes.
The second one focuses more on Rick Wild Thing Vaughn, and in proxy it becomes a lot more of a lighter, looser story.
It's Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The others are still there.
Yeah.
Corbin Burnson, Tom Berenger, Wesley Snipes gets replaced with Omar Epps. Somehow that works, but it is what it is. Dennis Haybird is back. But yeah, so I always preferred the second one, partially because I saw the second one first.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's
so. But the original one is a great. It's one of those great rags to riches stories that you see a lot in sports films, where
especially in baseball,
Cleveland Indians, the ragtag team that can't do nothing.
Right, Josh?
And man, you get a crew together, and you get everyone on the same page, and they start winning, and they actually become serious contenders. Could have been a contender. They make that run, and they actually get to the World Series.
Take note, Oakland Athletics 2023.
Wow, really, dude?
Yep. Oh, yeah. The Oakland Athletics now are the Cleveland Indians of Major League.
You know what? You talk all this trash on the show, and we're going to take a little quick detour here. You talk all this trash.
Here we go.
In the sports bar, which granted, it's your bar, you own it, about the Oakland A's and their move to Vegas. But I would be willing to bet you money I don't have. You take a trip to Las Vegas. Once that stadium is opened and you discover the A's are playing the Angels, you're in that stadium watching your LA Angels team on the Vegas Strip.
Side question?
We got to make sure that, one, Ohtani stays in Los Angeles, and two, we need a healthy Trout back. Then we'll talk.
Well, you got about 5 years to make that happen, so .
So So just so we're clear, we're going to watch the Oakland Athletics, who are not going to be in Oakland, play the LA Angels, who don't fucking play in LA anyway. Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, so I want to make sure we're clear. In Vegas. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Live watch along coming in 2024.
Hey, Artie, Matt, geography. I know marketing. Cool. Okay, yeah. Okay, if we're gonna do this, we'll go put up the graphic in if we're gonna do that, because I am tired of his shit. You don't play in Los Angeles, Muckerfather. Okay, your boys. Thank you, appreciate that. And you know how I know they play in Anaheim? Because I can not only watch our fireworks at work, I can watch the baseball fireworks after that too.
He's got a point.
I've had that point for freaking 22 or let's see, hang on. Yeah, 21 years. And I know it's been 21 years because that was last time the Angels won the World Series before they were sold, despite people becoming fans after that. Anyway.
Love you too, bro.
I know you do.
We know he's a bandwagoner. We know he's a bandwagon fan, and we love him for it anyways. We just love giving him crap for it at the same time.
Love is such a strong word.
Well, so is the opposite.
This is true. And we definitely don't hate Mikey. We just yeah. But yes.
Okay.
But getting back to Major League.
Yes.
Getting back to Major League. I often compare Major League, 1 and 2 specifically. I really try not to count back to the minors. But I look at Major League 1 and 2 very much in the same vein as I look at Charlie's brother in Young Guns 1 and 2. The first movie definitely had more dramatic overtones. The second movie became a straight up comedy.
Yes, it
both
did.
movies I saw the sequel first. So both movies I prefer the sequel to the original as a result of it. But Major League I thought was a great addition to the list and definitely deserves a spot here, I think.
What is it with that family and the sequels being better than the first one, which we'll get to later? I'm just saying.
All right. So for our first honorable mention, we're going to throw it over to Dori. Go ahead.
So for my honorable mention, I went with it's ice skating and hockey, but more based on the figure skating itself, ice castles. And I'm talking the classic ice castles from 1970 something. I can't remember the year, with Robbie Benson.
Robbie Benson.
Yeah, so go watch it. It's one of those. She's fought her way through. She's getting recognition and starting the major ice figure skating competitions. Her boyfriend's a hockey player, who they have their issues off and on. But after she has a tragic accident that kind of derails her career, he's one of the people who helps her fight past that and get her back to where she belongs.
Nice.
And it's just I think it's an awesome story of overcoming things that life throw at you, those roadblocks that life has a tendency to throw at you, and just it shows what a tough road it was, but what this figure skater had to overcome. And it's got some beautiful music in it. And forgive me, I'm forgetting the name of the artist right now, but the song is Looking Through the Eyes of Love. It is just beautiful. And they do, of course, because it's figure skating, there's a lot of good classical pieces in there too that have been updated for the time. And I have a lot of good memories of watching this movie with my mom. This was one of her favorite movies for a long time. We watched it a lot.
It sounds like a feel-good movie.
It is. I mean, it'll make you, it's one of those, it kind of makes you want to cry, but then you cheer, and there's a lot of feelings in this movie. it's just it's a whole lot of feeling movie. And like I said, I have a lot of good memories with it. And I just absolutely love the figure skating. I can ice skate, but I could never skate anything like that.
Yeah. For everybody that was like watching now or watching on demand, what'd you pick about Robbie Benson? He was in two things that I'm fond of: Pirates of Penzance, which nobody talks about anymore, but it was so ridiculous. That
yes,
shit was
but I
good.
love it.
And he was the voice of Beast in the Beauty and the Beast animated saga that Disney created. So
yes.
Robbie Benson, hell of a guy too. Wonderful man, nice guy. So
all right.
Cool.
Moving on.
I think it's my turn now.
Yes.
It is your turn.
And for the record, if everyone can just check the private chat on the thing, I've put who goes with what number. So
that's right.
There should be no confusion going down the road here. Yeah. Jeff, go ahead, sir.
So at number 8, now it's Miracle. There we go. Okay. Going from ice castles to Miracle. It's a perfect segue. Which would have been a lot more perfect had I not botched the transition. Anyway, if you are a fan of hockey and you grew up when this generation, us kids, grew up, or especially our parents being in their, we'll call it late 20s, maybe even early 20s, some of them, this story of this team facing the dreaded Soviet hockey team, who literally were Soviet soldiers recruited to play hockey for Russia. That was the whole reason they were on part of the Soviet Union army, was to be the hockey team. There was not a chance, not a spit's chance in hell of this U.S. team and this coach doing what they did in 1980. I think, in 1980, and they did it, man. They literally pulled off a miracle. The title Miracle comes, of course, from the famous Al Michaels call, "Do You Believe in Miracles?" So just a beautiful real life story that, Disney, of course, magics it up and just makes it that much more, it's got the bells and whistles on it that Disney does. And yes, I'm kissing corporate ass. I really don't care. I'm in a good mood today about the company, so I'm going for it.
So yes, Jeff, 1980 is correct.
I just have a question. What is it about Disney with hockey movies where an American team faces off against another team that's bigger, stronger, faster, and has more facial hair? That was said really well and very, very verbatim. That was good shit. And again, we will get to that later.
Put up the graphic.
Actually, it's more of
is Step Boy approved.
Actually, it's more of bigger, stronger. They have more facial hair. But there it is. Step Boy approved. Very, very good. Very good. And yeah, I love these hockey movies. Anyway, and what's really cool, and I didn't remember this when it happened, but I think about it now, and going through the training I went through and all the history of every facet of the company, people forget that Kurt Russell was a Disney kid, man. So seeing him play the coach was just that nice little touch there, because if ever there was a kid that was more Disney movies or special feature programs in the early days of Disney television and movie, show me it.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell or Annette Funicello. That was it.
Yeah, pretty
one
much.
of those two. So, and Annette was part of a bigger troop of Mouseketeers. Kurt was doing Kurt Russell things even back then, before he was with Goldie Hawn and doing other Kurt Russell things. Creating beautiful people together. But yeah, Miracle is one of my favorite movies. It's only so low because there are so many damn good sports movies, period. And there's a hockey movie in the company library that just happens to be better. So yeah,
this was his return to Disney.
It was because he had kind of purposely shied away for a while. He did all the action movies. He did all the very un-Disney like roles, if we're being honest.
I mean, he did dabble in a few of the subsidiaries.
Yes, right.
Tombstone was a Hollywood picture, which is still Mouska Mafia controlled.
Yes.
Just for an example, but this was his return to Disney proper.
Well, Disney Pictures, yes. Yes.
And then since then,
appropriate.
of course, he did Sky High. He's now part of the MCU. He was Ego.
Yes.
Star-Lord's father.
Because we own the world, we will corrupt your children.
All right.
All right.
Is
So
that
now we're
what
back
my
to
problem is? I was raised a Disney kid. No.
We were all raised Disney kids.
Well,
For
and I
real.
raised my kids as Disney kids too. So, oh my gosh. Okay, there
we
we
all
go.
did too. So that's right.
It says
Perpetuating
it right
the
there,
evil.
Disney Plus, right there. Disney
Oh,
Plus.
hell.
And my youngest son
If we're comparing remotes,
raised his kids to be Disney kids as well as anime kids, but
that's right. I think both of my Roku. Yeah, both my Rokus have Disney Plus on them. We are taking over the world one device at a time.
And there's a Hulu button, which they also own. So
That's
Yes.
right.
yeah,
We coming for you, Netflix. Anyway,
I have the same one.
tremendous.
This is great. I love it. I love
Here
it.
we go. Another sidebar. Let's see. Both have Netflix.
We're coming for you.
That's right. We both have Netflix. Both have Disney Plus. But this one has Hulu and Sling. Does anybody actually use Sling anymore besides Noah Foster? This one
Love you,
uses.
Noel.
This one has Apple TV and Discovery Plus. So I'm working both sides of the competition for WWE and AEW. Look at me. There you go.
I wore a sling 20 years
Mikey.
ago.
Yeah, when he broke his own arm wrestling.
We'll have to revisit that story later.
No.
That Boy Sports Bar is back,
Nope,
kids.
never
We're just
revisit
picking on
the
Uncle
story
Goofy. That's right.
Okay.
I believe it's a Renegade's turn. He's trying his hardest.
No, it's Mikey's
No, it's my turn.
It's
Oh,
Mikey's
then
turn.
I should-
Private chat, everything is in there.
All right. The number
Okay,
7
okay.
movie takes a proper sport but turns it into the streets with 4 simple words: white men can't jump. Wesley
It's that great.
Snipes, Woody Harrelson, taking it to the courts down on the beach, and also giving you the lesson: sometimes when you win, you lose. Sometimes when you lose, you win. And sometimes you can even tie. I mean, excellent movie. Showing off both of their skills. Wesley Snipes, of course, being the arrogant basketball street hustler. Woody playing the opposite side of the play. Oh yeah, I played a little college. I've been hustling ever since. They join forces, all for the love of basketball and to make a little money. Excellent movie. You play sing along when you watch this movie. I mean, come on,
Definitely.
Eric,
Definitely. When you started talking about simple words, I thought you were going to say, "We going Sizzler, we going Sizzler."
Man, shut your anorexic malnutrition tapeworm having take me out. Leave me alone, because he just lost all his money, and all that.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
I had a legitimate, serious question. It just went away in all this nonsense. I'll think of it in a second. Oh yeah. Would you agree, Mr. Movie person over here, the Renegade reviewer? Woody Harrelson was very much cast against Woody Harrelson type here. Because he'd been doing Cheers for so many years. He was this squeaky little farm boy Indiana guy on Cheers.
Right.
He is definitely not that in this movie.
I don't know
Yes.
if I would agree with that completely, because you have to think about the hustle and what he's trying to convey to Sydney and to all the people he's hustling is that he very much is still that Indiana farm boy.
Okay. All right.
He's the more naive of the two, because when he gets out hustled by Wesley, he takes that shit personal.
That's
Something
fair.
that a naive Indiana farm boy would do.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
while I kind of understand to a degree where you're coming from, no, I think this was the perfect transitional role for him.
Okay.
You want to talk about it going against type for Woody Harrelson? Let's talk Natural Born Killers.
I was going to say that one definitely, without question.
I look at this movie kind of in the same vein as I look at Point Break for Keanu.
Okay.
Still had a little bit of the whoa, dude, Ted Logan going on.
Right.
But you could kind of get a little sense of the speed, the
Yeah.
Matrix, and then
Right.
eventually the John Wick that was
Yes.
to come for him in that movie. Both of them kind of meeting in the middle here.
That's
You got
fair.
a little
That's
bit
fair.
of that Cheers, Woody Harrelson,
Okay.
but then you also got a little bit of what's to come once I really break out.
By the way, on Keanu, give me Ted's real name again. The whole name.
Ted Theodore Logan.
Theodore Logan was the original, bro, not Matt Riddle. WWE. Shut your faces. Very good. Okay, I'm good now. I feel better.
What about Bill S. Preston Esquire?
Both of them? Damn it! By God, Alex and Keanu had that shit on point before Matt Riddle was even freaking popping out of his daddy's to be created. So knock that shit off.
All right.
Damn it, WWE pissed me off. The original, bro. Oh my God. Watch movies.
Speaking of watch movies, we're going to
Yes.
go to one that I reviewed last year when I did
Yes.
my birthday month, where I usually discuss my favorites of all time. And somehow this one kind of slipped off my radar and I had forgotten about it when making my initial list. Maybe because of the whole way we discussed at the beginning about what defines a sports movie as opposed to just like a competition. So I the martial arts thing kind of slipped my mind a little bit, but Chuck Norris, Jonathan Brandis, Bo Bridges, and Winnie Cooper herself, Danica McKellar.
That's right.
In Sidekicks. You know, this came at that perfect time because the Wonder Years was kind of winding down.
Yep.
Jonathan Brandis was kind of on his ascension. You know, he had played Bill, the young Bill in the TV version of It in 1990.
Yes.
He had done Neverending Story 2. He was just starting to come into his own on Sequest DSV. And here was like this perfect role for him to kind of help catapult him. And then you got Chuck Norris making fun of himself.
Right.
Whenever an actor cannot take themselves so seriously and take a step back and make fun of themselves, love those movies, generally speaking. Prime example, Last Action Hero. Probably my favorite Schwarzenegger movie because he doesn't take himself seriously. He just makes fun of himself.
Yes.
That's very much what Sidekicks is. You know, you've got Jonathan Brandis, this asthmatic kid who wants so bad to be like his idol, Chuck Norris, to the point where he dreams that he's popping in to the classic Chuck Norris movies.
Yep.
And finally, he's able to control his asthma enough to learn some karate, learn some martial arts, defeat the won't call him the lead bad guy because Joe Piscopo, who runs the rival studio, is the lead bad guy, but defeat his number one student in the finals. It's very much Karate Kid.
Yes.
But whereas Karate Kid, the karate is just like a minor part of the movie.
Yeah.
This, it consumes the entire story.
Yes. And by the way, can we get anything more late 80s, early 90s in this movie? Freaking Jonathan Brandis, Chuck Norris, Bo Bridges, and Danica McKellar. Let's just take late 80s, early 90s and make it.
And Joe Piscopo.
And Joe Piscopo, yeah. Seriously. Like here. Okay, we need 80s, 90s spam. There you go. There it is. Sidekicks. Thank you.
So I have to give a shout out here. You know, usually the shout outs are saved to the end of the show.
That's
I've got to give a shout out here to Statboy for having had this on his list.
Yes.
So that it qualified for honorable mention because otherwise it probably would not be getting this moment of recognition.
Right.
And that's a damn shame because this is a great underrated 90s classic.
Yeah. I have seen this. I've not seen the Karate Kid movies. Y'all don't send the hate mail on the pitchforks. Jesus Christ. Just haven't seen them. But Sidekicks was really good. And I think had I seen Karate Kid first, I would probably have a maybe a different view, not a worse view, because Karate Kid I hear is just they're awesome. At least the first one. They kind of get a little sideways after that, but Sidekicks was really good, and I enjoyed it when I saw it.
As I enjoyed it, have never seen it. I do believe it is still on YouTube in its entirety for free.
It's crazy that so many awesome people are in this movie, and they're just out there.
And I've seen them both, and I love them both, but they both have different aspects, different storylines. When it comes to the karate in general or the martial arts in general, I'll give it to Sidekicks, but I really also enjoy the evolving story with Daniel in Karate Kid. So
it's Karate Kid. From what I've been told, the story is the thing in Karate Kid, whereas the karate is the story in Sidekicks.
Yes.
All right, Dori, go ahead.
Number 6.
Oh, let's see. I have. You're killing me, Smalls. Let's see. It's actually from 1993.
Love it.
Yeah,
Sandlot.
1993. So the year my twins were born, late that year. The Sandlot. Yes.
No, not yes. You got to go. Yeah.
Sorry, whatever. Yeah. Sandlot, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I see those shirts. I still see those shirts all over the place. It's great.
Hell yes.
Yes.
Marketing. Merchandising.
My daughter has a yeah jersey, so you know. That is her favorite. We actually went and met him. He did a meet and greet appearance out here. There's a bunch of the kids. Well, 3 of the kids. That's not really a bunch, but a third of the kids were out here, and we met him.
That was a cool day from what you guys told me. So and yeah, it's still so popular. 1993 was 30 years. Give me a second.
Almost
30 years later.
Yeah.
How many of us actually played baseball on a sandlot? Did any of us? You did?
I did. Absolutely, I did. We played a sandlot so much they converted it into an actual Little League complex because they were tired of tearing shit up and everybody getting hurt.
Wow.
That's how Candy Crush Little League came to be a thing that Dylan played all those years later. True story. But yeah,
this group of kids, they're just doing their thing, having fun, and as it happens in baseball, no matter where you're playing, except for maybe in a Little League complex, balls get lost. They get hit over fences into somebody's yard and whatever else happens. And this was a prize baseball.
Signed by Baby Ruth herself.
The Sultan of SWAT?
The Sultan of SWAT?
Yep, that was I remember it was
even seeing this movie when it came out, when I was 10 years old. I know I'm leaving the room, y'all shut up. It's like, man, how did this kid survive going home? It was a Babe Ruth baseball. Babe Ruth's been gone long enough where I didn't see him play. I don't think my dad even saw Babe Ruth play. He was gone that long. So
Dennis Leary is his dad. I mean, Dennis Leary admits he's an asshole. He's got a whole song about it.
Right?
Yes, he does.
He owns that shit and marches. Yeah.
He owns it. Oh, yes, he does.
Great is to see how the kids are still such good friends.
That was really neat.
30 years later.
Yeah, that was really cool.
People, the kids that played Smalls and Ham doing videos all the time, going out, socializing. I remember seeing a picture on one of their social medias where they walked past a guy who was wearing the "You're Killing Me" Smalls shirt, and they asked to take a picture with him, and he had no idea who they were. You guys, you are so fail. You're sitting here next to what is the guy on your shirt?
Yeah, right.
And the other guy is the one who played the character Smalls, and you don't know who's in the picture with you.
And Ham has not changed appearance all that much. Yes, he's grown up. It's been 30 years. Give the guy a break.
Yeah, he's lost weight and put weight back on.
Yeah, but his overall,
and the
Wow.
commercials, the viral videos they do, where they do
my
like
God.
the whole try not to laugh with
So
each
good.
other,
so good.
and repeating the whole s'mores shtick.
You play ball like a girl.
Oh man,
It's great to see how, with the exception of, I keep wanting to call him Luis Mendoza because I know him best from D2, but with the exception of Benny,
yeah,
you know, who became a legitimate firefighter and kind of got out of acting and everything.
right.
See how the rest of them are still like tight is just so cool.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? Good on the kid that played Benny and Luis. Taking yourself out of, I'm not saying acting is an easy peasy thing or anything, but to go into firefighting as opposed to acting, that's a whole shift, man.
Right.
So good on him for that.
All right.
Just on a little kind of related.
Mm-hmm.
So back when, Jeff would have been little. He would have been a little bit younger. There, I was living in San Bernardino. That's where I went to San Bernardino High School, where I graduated. And I worked at the Pizza Hut delivery. That's on Highland Avenue, which is across the street from Fiscalini Park.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So when I was there, is it AAA?
Yeah.
The AAA team, the farm team?
Yeah, the 66ers,
the
right?
Seattle Mariners at the time, and they were called the San Bernardino Spirit.
Right.
This is where Ken Griffey Jr. was playing.
Oh, okay.
I had become acquainted with him.
Nice.
And had several autographed baseballs from him.
He's a good guy.
My mom not realizing what they were.
She didn't.
Yes, she did.
Oh, no.
I had several autographed baseballs from Ken Griffey Jr. when he played for the San Bernardino Spirit, who are now the 66ers, I think.
66ers, they won the 66ers for the Dodgers, yeah. Yep.
For the Dodgers now. Yeah. All my baseballs went bye-bye.
Did she sell them? Did she use? What did she do?
I think she used
They ended
them.
up in the trash. They were cleaning out the garage and they found the baseballs, not realizing they were signed, and threw them out.
Oh, no.
I need a drink.
I still have the memories. I do still have some good memories of going to watch him play with the Spirit and meeting him, and actually got a ride home from him a couple times.
We got to find his publicist and get him on the show and tell him about this.
I'm gonna paraphrase a very famous hip hop song here. Mama gonna get knocked out for that. Oh my! The horror!
Love you, Mom.
The horror.
Love you, Mom. It's all good. She's actually, it's something she's sometimes proud of, that I had this acquaintance with him.
I'm going to look up Ken Griffey Jr.'s publicist right now. I got to find this guy. Yeah. We need those baseballs back, and I'm not going to go knocking on someone's door that could do it.
Right? I wish we could. Okay. So moving on.
Yes, to number 5, officially halfway through the list. And I mean, again, you want to talk about a basketball classic. Space Jam.
There you
go.
Woo!
The original, not the LeBron James version, which I'm not going to hate on because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
But good. You just can't top Michael Jordan, still in the prime of his career.
Yes.
Alongside the Looney Tunes. Yes. You know, between the movie, the cameos, and the soundtrack, which will still forever be, you know, and we had it on the top 10 soundtracks list that me and you did.
Yep.
the soundtrack will forever be one of the greatest 90s soundtracks. Period.
Oh,
Point
yes.
blank. Fight me on it.
No,
No.
nope, can't.
Nope.
You know,
I
and
just
the
got the song
soundtrack.
in my head, okay?
What's that?
I just got the song in my head, so I'm over here dancing.
You're the
There you
jam, it's the space jam. Oh yeah,
Say
every
that-
time. Oh yeah,
Yep.
That
absolutely.
soundtrack and one song in particular will always hold a special meaning to me and Stat Boy,
Yup.
as it was the song that we always used to come on the radio station first thing in the morning.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Be Real, Busta Rhymes, Coolio, LL Cool J, and Method Man. Hit 'em High, the Monstars anthem.
Hell yes.
Nice.
I'm
Very
seeing the
cool.
lyrics.
Right? Right? The thing.
See, didn't they use Pump Up the Jam in that too?
I think they did, but it wasn't officially on the soundtrack.
Right.
Okay.
And man, you talk about cameos, all the NBA stars that lost their skill,
Yeah.
plus Larry Bird, who was just into retirement at that point, after playing golf with Michael and Wayne
Bill
Knight's
Murray.
character, and Bill Murray. Yeah, Bill Murray, who was in it. And I had just met Bill Murray like the year before when he was doing a different movie, and just it's like, I just saw this guy. So just a great cast, fun story. Michael Jordan in the prime of his career as a baseball player.
Well, let's be real. I love Michael, but there was no prime of his career as a baseball player.
None.
No, but
His baseball career was over as quickly as it began.
Yes, but I like that they
used. Bo thought he could be a two-sport player, and only Bo can do that. Sorry, Mike.
That's right. Bo knows that. Michael didn't.
The city of Long Beach.
Kudos to him for trying.
The city of Long Beach could not save Michael's career because they used Blair Field right across from my alma mater, Wilson High School. I mean, I wanted to be there so bad for the filming of that movie, of those scenes.
Can you do me a favor and move you and I real quick? If you can. What the fuck, Real Wyatt? Really? Carry on.
What?
I like them both. For the record, I do like both Space Jam movies. But there is no comparison. I'm sorry.
Real Wyatt, what? Don't get me started.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't get me started.
No. Please don't start because it's my turn next.
Okay, I was gonna say this is Stat Boy Sports Bar, not Stat Boy Rants.
That's right. Stat Boy Rants can rant on Real Wyatt. When Bray actually returns to the company, we can give him a voice back. Anyway,
it's coming.
That's not Real Wyatt's fault, but it's okay. So, but yeah, Space Jam. I love the story. I love that he totally makes fun of his baseball career. It's like, all right, look, this didn't work out, so we're just gonna lampoon this shit. Whatever.
Again, somebody that's able to make fun of themselves. You know,
so
many celebrities, and you can go across all fields. So many celebrities have such huge, fragile egos of themselves.
Yep.
That it takes a real person to be able to be like, okay, this was not a good point in my life. Let me just make fun of it. Everybody else is clowning me. You know, it's just like our parents always tell us. If you clown on yourself first, it takes the power away from the bullies.
Yes.
They can't make fun of you if you're making fun of yourself first.
Right.
I do that with my name all the time. Thank you, Disney.
Yeah. So it's seeming in the chat room like he meant as a basketball player, which I'll still argue and fight and die on that hill that Jordan's the greatest to ever play the game. But stats are a thing, as Mikey knows better than anybody. Yes. So, and yes, he passed Kareem. So good for LeBron on that front. He did it as a Laker, which is pretty cool. All right. So my honorable mention is one that I'm surprised is even an honorable mention. It should be on everybody's top 10 everything when it comes to sports movies. It won the freaking Oscar, for crying out loud. Rocky. It is your classic underdog, makes good, gets a chance of a lifetime, goes the distance with the top in the profession, the greatest of the greatest of all time. If you listen to Apollo talk about himself at that point, and so well written, so well produced, directed, all the things lined up, and it was named the best movie of 1976, and it was Sly's conviction to not have one of the studio people play Rocky Balboa. He was willing to let that script go into his backyard and be buried with everything else back there. And he stuck to his guns, and there is no other person that could be Rocky Balboa. There just isn't for me. Same with Talia Shire. God bless her, playing Adrian. Everybody in this is so good. Burgess Meredith, there you go. I forget who plays Paulie, so forgive me for forgetting Bert Young. There it is. It just came in my head. Tony, the guy who plays Apollo's trainer and really father figure, Duke. Everybody is so good in this movie, and the story is just a thing of beauty. And we did agree that it didn't make the list because I had part 1, Mikey had part 2. If one of us had agreed on the other one, I even dare say it's very much like Superman 1 and 2, where they're right one after the other. Superman 1 and 2 was supposed to be one big epic movie, and then Dick Donner realized how far deep he was in his own shit and went, okay, maybe I better do 2 of these. But this is a clear first and second movie, but they really are a continuation of the story. So I feel that's where you and I got lost in the sauce, because I think they're one big story.
I mean, it wasn't him about winning the title in the first one. He wanted to go the distance.
Right, and he did.
In the second one, he gets the title finally by 1 second by knocking out, spoiler alert, by knocking out Apollo Creed,
Yeah.
And then as we progress further into the story, then, the boxing isn't as much, and then it turns Rocky, he's the champ. He loses the champ, he fights the Russian, and all that.
Yes. I still maintain the first one is the best one, because the first one had so many different things that were perfect about it. That's why it won the Academy Award. 2 is a beautiful story. It gets the cool, yo, Adrian, I did it. He wins. He becomes the heavyweight champion of the world. But that first one is just, it's the greatest thing of exposition in a sports movie for me, that you understand why he was, how he was at the beginning and at the end. So it's a great framed movie for me. And that's why it was on my list, and I feel it should be on everybody's sports list, period.
Except for those of us that have never seen it. So we can't rank something we've never seen.
If you haven't seen it, then I don't have a beef with you about it, because you don't have anything, it's not, you just don't have an opinion, period. Which, I'm not saying I'm taking your opinion away. It's just you don't have one to have because you've never seen it. Exactly. But I even recommend 5, just so you can see how not to make the movie. It's 5.
How not to make the movie. Okay.
5 is Quest for Peace, Superman bad.
Ooh, gotcha. Good reference.
Thank you.
Very good.
It is a awful, awful movie.
Is it Family Guy, It's a Trap?
No, not that.
No, because Family Guy, It's a Trap owned what it was.
Yes, it did.
Rocky 5 didn't really own what it was till after the fact, and both he and the director went, yeah, our bad. And that's why Rocky Balboa became a thing 16 years later. It's like, we're sorry, y'all. Here's a better ending for Rocky.
Yeah, it's like, we got to fix this. We can't leave with this kind of a legacy.
Yeah, exactly. So, Real Wyatt, we appreciate the comments in the chat room. Please, by all means, I'll even screenshot it over here on my end. Save that for next week, and then when we get into hockey, because great questions. But today's more of a hybrid of top 10. So that's why Jay and I are here, because we're doing a top 10 list. So top 10 sports movies, but definitely a good question. I definitely want to talk about it when I'm in the sports bar about hockey.
Absolutely. It will be brought up because it is news. It is worthy. It's a great
big time.
He's the youngest NHL player. He's the equivalent of what Kobe did going into basketball. Connor Bedard, great young talent, going to Chicago. It will be touched next week.
Yes, we will definitely be covering that next week.
But back to what we were talking about, Mikey, go ahead with our number 4.
I think, Dori, did you have anything else to add to Rocky before? I saw you put your hand up.
No, I was just going to say, and haters, whatever. It's not one I have ever seen. I have not seen any of the Rocky movies. Boxing was something I was never into at that time. It's something I might go back and watch now because I've been trying to expand my sports knowledge and such.
Yes.
But at this point, it's not something I've done yet.
Okay. We now travel to Dubuque County, Iowa, with the classic line, "If you build it, he will come."
He will come.
The Field of Dreams. Is this heaven? No, this is Iowa. This is the one of the nicest baseball movies ever, because of, you know, he takes his cornfield and literally slashes it because for the love of baseball. And if you ever do get to visit Iowa, this field exists. The MLB does it every year. They go out there, they play in, and there is no wall. The wall is the cornfield. Hit the ball in the cornfield, you get a home run. You know, this is on my bucket list. I mean, now that we're in Tennessee, Iowa's only a few states away, I hope. So maybe for my 50th birthday in 5 years, that's where I would love to go. You know,
I want to go to the game so bad now that it's a thing. I really do.
And
God,
the quick baseball story that I always tell, when Vin Scully was alive and the Dodgers did this, he said, you know, come out to center field and have a catch with Dad. I want to now do it in the Field of Dreams. I want to go out to center field with a baseball glove with the family, and we just play catch.
There you go.
Just have a catch, you know? And of course, the classic line again, which is often misquoted. It's not, a lot of people say, if you build it, they will come. That is not true. No, it's if you build it, he will come. He being, of course, his father, you know.
Oh, and FYI, 775 miles, so 12 hours and 11 minutes in current traffic conditions.
We're going. We're going.
Get your license.
I should just got booked right here on the air in front of everybody.
Get your license so you can share the driving.
Yeah, there you go. On the spot.
Well, no, there are plans for that to happen at the end of August.
I know.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You'll see it. You'll see
I'll
it.
believe it when I see it.
You'll see
King
it.
Mike, we actually talked about Space Jam just a few minutes ago. It came in number 6, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
So, yeah. King Mike, we did bring up Space Jam. So, sorry you were late, but yes, we did talk about it, and we all agree it was an awesome movie. So, all right, it's mine's turn. All right, where are we at here? Oh, yes. Okay. So, very rare you're going to hear any of us go too far into golf on a regular episode of Sapway Sports Bar featuring Dori Lou. But when it comes to top 10 sports movies, Happy Gilmore has to be on a list. I just think this is hysterical. It's the only time you're going to see Bob Barker not being in that element of, you know, kindly, you know, neighborly host guy, because he beat the shit out of Happy Gilmore here. It's funnier than hell, as it should be. But again, a great story. You know, hockey player who just can't seem to rein his temper in. He should have played for the Kings. Would have been a lot better in the 80s. But had even old
McSorley on the line.
Him as a forward with that shot of his and McSorley back there covering the goalie. I dig it. I dig it. You know what? Tiger Williams. I'll even do that because Marty cost us the cup, so on him. Tiger Williams will be on the line with Happy Gilmore. I love Marty now, but anyway. Just a great story. Like I said, you know, this hockey player who can't seem to keep himself in check, so he is doing odd jobs. I think if I remember the story, and then his grandmother's losing his house, so he has to find a way to raise money. There's a golf tournament, and he's got a hell of a shot behind him. So he gets convinced to play in this tournament against the notorious Shooter McGavin, played expertly by, I forget Chris's last name, but he's just I love him too. And like I said, Bob Barker makes a cameo. It's part of like a celebrity thing where he's paired up with Happy and they get sideways with each other and they get into a fight right there on the links in front of everybody. It was funnier than hell. Another Carl Weathers appearance on this list because he plays Chubbs, Happy's trainer in the finer points of golf, who has a unfortunate encounter with a is it alligator or crocodile for Chubbs?
I think it was a crocodile.
And the crocodile. What is it with us in movies and Disney and crocodiles? Good Lord, these poor guys. But yeah, I've always liked Happy Gilmore. I liked it as a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch it as a kid, but anyway, sorry, Mom, if you're watching. If you're not, hey, you know what though? It's still good. I love this movie, and I definitely want to. I'm glad it was included. I'm glad it made enough of our list to get as high as it did on the consensus list. And speaking of Mr. Sandler,
that actually surprised the hell out of me that it
really
was on 3 of our lists to make it this high, because Happy Gilmore, I enjoy it, but it's not one that's in like heavy rotation for me.
Well, me either, really,
but just the fact that 3 of us had it on our lists, because really it's one of the only golf movies that there is.
It is.
We don't talk about Tin Cup?
I think I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I've only seen Tin Cup once. I've only seen Caddyshack once, which I know. Hate mail at jdmeets1 at yahoo.com. Really? Okay, well then here, send a hate mail to him then.
So, I mean, it's one of those things I'm going to get to eventually, but but it surprised me that this one ended up coming up to number 3 because of it being on 3 of our lists. I figured 2 of us maybe.
4, again, it's another one I have not taken the time to watch.
So think about this, people at home. If Dori had seen this and it had been on her list, this could have either been number 1 or 2.
Wow, there you go.
That's saying something about Happy Gilmore.
Very much so. Very much so.
I mean, I really enjoy Adam Sandler, but it's just a movie that I have not taken the time to watch. Let's face it, I don't take the time to watch a lot of things. I've got a lot of things going on.
And Sandler has definitely dabbled in sports movies before. I mean, you've got Happy Gilmore, obviously. You've got The Water Boy. And you've got Stat Boy's honorable mention.
Which is a remake of an original, whereas the star of the original got a role in the remake. We're talking about The Longest Yard.
Yes.
Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Burt Reynolds, and of course a slew of WWE superstars to fill out the team. Kevin Nash
and Bill Goldberg.
Nelly.
Oh.
You know, I mean,
Great Khali. I think before Khali had even signed. Because I think if memory serves me correctly, he's listed as Dalip Singh, not the Great Khali.
Right.
And of course, Michael Irvin, number 88. He's on there, you know, and it's kind of quotable because of all the superstars, you know. You see a side of Kevin Nash I never want to see again. I thought I saw that in Magic Mike, but to see him, yeah, I mean.
Happy belated birthday, by the way, Big Kev. Now that we're calling you out and throwing you under the bus for this shit. Happy belated birthday there, Big Kev.
Yes, happy belated birthday.
Ooh, it's rough.
You know, and I wouldn't call it shot for shot remake, but it was pretty darn close. There are elements of the original story that do take place in the remake. Paul Wrecking Crew. This is where you also learn about what point shaving is.
Yep.
You know, taking a dive. You know, cheating the mob boss. The boss.
Deflation.
What's that?
Football deflation.
Yeah.
Deflategate. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, you did. So yeah, excellent.
Leave Tom alone. Anyway,
Watch the original, then watch the remake, then compare. Then
thank you.
Send me an X about it.
Because my dad got up my ass about the original not being on our list, but the remake being an honorable mention. I was like, it was a consensus. You're killing me. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever seen the remake. I've only ever seen the Sandler version.
Right.
Primarily because of two reasons. One, it's Sandler. Two,
Yep.
it was filmed in and around Long Beach in the convention center.
There you go.
So, you know, I saw it to support my work and everything because we did work when they were filming, especially the race scene in the beginning.
Right.
It was like right there on First Street and Shoreline Drive.
Just the race.
I love how our hometown can double as any other city in the world.
Right.
It really is every other city in the world, except it's got a big, beautiful ocean backdrop if you look one direction.
Yeah, you have to look at
It's really what Long Beach is, man. It's a great city. Despite it being on the news every night for all the wrong reasons, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like if you don't believe that it can be used as just about anything, any place in the world, just watch a Mike Myers movie. It's doubled for both England and Illinois.
Yeah. Yep.
And he calls it out.
Oh, he totally does. It's amazing how it looks like Southern California. Like, yeah. Again, driving down, it's like, oh.
All right.
But yeah, Longest Yard was a good one, Mikey. I'm not surprised you had this on your list. You know, Stat Boy with the football, the foosball, if you will.
Yeah, the football. Gotta
Yeah,
have the football in
there.
there.
Good call.
The meat and potatoes of Stat Boy Sports Bar. Football.
Yes.
Yes.
Just not the only entree anymore, thanks to production decisions.
Yeah, you know.
Now it's more of a buffet.
Yeah.
With heavy emphasis on the foosball.
If there's anything the fat man knows that works at Disney, it is the buffet.
That's right.
There you go.
Prince character breakfast, buffet style.
Hey, storytellers, when you realize how much you get to pay, maybe not so much, but before the bill comes, it's a beautiful thing.
Delicious. Absolutely. Good food.
All right. Brings us to number 2.
Yes.
And the last one that I'm going to solely discuss. The second movie in a trilogy. A movie that taught us that just when you think they're about to break apart, ducks fly together.
That's right.
That when the wind blows hard and the sky is black,
ducks fly together.
And when the roosters are crowing and the cows are spinning circles in the pasture, ducks fly together.
Ducks fly together. Yeah, you got to do the Gordon. Yeah. Oh,
and when everyone says that it can't be done,
ducks
fly
together.
I'm wearing the wrong gear today.
Yes, you are.
Yep. I almost grabbed my jersey.
I'd be wearing my jersey, but one of them is at my daughter's house because she's basically absconded with my Fulton Reed D1 jersey.
Accurate.
The other one is in my closet here, but it's also 101 degrees in Victorville right now, so you know.
Yeah.
Not trying to mess with that.
I almost grabbed my D1 jersey, but yeah, 100 degrees. I'm good. Thanks.
But yeah, D2 The Mighty Ducks it's the best in the franchise.
Yep.
It's one of, if not the best, live action Disney movies that there's ever been, period.
Yes.
It's just a great story. And a lot of people try to give me shit of liking this one over the original because it's the same movie.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
The stakes are higher.
Yes.
The first movie is more about playing for pride. It's the Bad News Bears. It's Major League. It's the ragtag bunch of misfits coming together to prove they belong. This time you're defending your country.
Yeah.
You know, going against, again, the bigger, badder Iceland team.
More facial hair.
Which is where the quote that I used earlier comes from.
All ties in, kids. There it is.
Long-term storytelling.
Watch that on Friday.
But
cheap look.
It's so good. And this one, you trimmed the fat, the
Yes.
unnecessary fat from the original movie.
Yes.
Peter's gone. Carp is gone. Terry's gone. Tammy and Tommy are gone.
Yes.
And we replaced them with, honestly, just a better bunch of kids.
Yes.
Luis Mendoza, the speedster who can't stop.
Yep.
Dwayne Robertson, the best puck handler that Mr. Tibbles has ever seen. Period. Not just for his age.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Dean Portman, who rocks a tattoo that is very reminiscent of what the Ducks logo would become. If you've never noticed that Easter egg, go back and rewatch his introduction scene in the beginning, where Averman asks, "Is that a tattoo? Is it real?" He has a skull with the two sticks going through it. What's the Ducks logo?
The original one, the good one, is like that with the duck head. Kind of like the Sharks one's like that too, except the shark one, the shark's choking on the stick like they do every year anyway.
Just like that, except it's an actual skull.
It's a skull. Yeah.
You've got Kenny Wu, the Olympic figure skater, who once you put a stick in his hand, he was untouchable. And then the greatest goalie, the goalie that we needed on the LA Kings, put fucking Jonathan Quick to shame. Julie the Cat Gaffney.
Oh, yes.
Don't shake your head, sir.
I will shake my head. God damn it.
Don't shake your head. Goldberg tied up to the freaking goal in the first movie stopped more pucks than Jonathan Quick did.
Wow. He's not wrong.
You shut the fuck up there too.
I will not.
I'm out of line.
Make me come down there.
I'm not wrong.
Stop him when
I
he's
feel
telling
attacked
lies.
and harassed on this show. I made a point to be here and have the goodwill. I'm getting my goalie attacked. It's some bullshit.
Your goalie is gone. You've got to deal with a new blood.
I don't mind the new blood being here. I don't even mind that he's in Vegas. I can hop up there and see him when I want to. When I actually want to go to Vegas on purpose.
The soundtrack,
right? Go to Vegas on purpose.
It's quotable as all get
yes.
out. Like legit. I remember the first time that I was up here in Victorville driving around doing Lyft, my job. There's a part in the city where a street turns into Rodeo Drive.
Nice.
And I immediately took a picture, sent it to Natalie. I'm like, Rodeo Drive, this don't look like no Rodeo Drive to me. No,
that's
Rodeo Drive. I know what I'm saying. The sign says Rodeo Drive.
2 minutes for roping.
Uncle Aaron is going to be extremely upset that we couldn't come in. Aaron Spelling? No, Hank Aaron. Yes, Aaron Spelling.
Oh,
and then
such a hustle.
Goldberg. The way Goldberg tries to, use what little game he has. I believe the kids call it rizzing these days. And trying to get them to go from the summer outfits that they're being shown in this fashion show to get the girls to put on bathing suits. It's like, okay, out of here, kid.
The freaking shopkeeper owner's face. She's like, all right, you fucker. That's enough of this shit.
I entertained this for a little bit. Now you've gone too far.
That is straight up the founder's side of your shit face. Like, that's enough out of you.
For real.
But
you've got two members of the Sandlot in this movie.
Yep.
And Jesse and Luis.
Yep. You're forgetting one very important element that is still part of American pop culture today because of this. Not the Kings. Knock that shit off.
Bob Miller.
No.
He's not
Bob
even
Miller's
the only
retired,
you forget about Robitaille and Gretzky in the movie too.
I was going to say both of them after I did this part. Kenan Thompson is part of the global presence in pop culture because of D2 and D3, of course. Also,
I was getting there.
Kenan. I mean, if you're going to do it, go ahead.
I was gonna get there. One of the few things that he did during that era, Kellless. This is Keenan no Kel.
Yep.
And he really shined here.
He did.
Especially in this one. The third one, not so much.
He was funny in the third one.
But not like he was here, because in this one he had Jesse to go back and forth with.
Right.
And that's always been Keenan's strength, is having that person that you can bounce off of.
Yeah.
If you need any further proof of that, watch Keenan and Kel.
Yeah.
Jesse was basically his Kel in this.
Yep.
Even though, if you really want to get technical, it was a role reversal. Keenan was Kel and Jesse was Keenan.
Yeah.
For the purposes of the comedy here.
Yes.
But man, Keenan was always the best when he had somebody to bounce off of.
Yeah.
That's why he fell flat in part 3, because Jesse was gone.
Yeah. He and Brandon worked very well together in D2. He and Kel, of course, or he and Kel, whatever. I think he's even better on SNL when he's in a group sketch, because when you get him on his own, as long as he has somebody to play off of, even though if he's the focal point of the sketch, as long as there's somebody to bounce off of, he's still good. But then his own sitcom, not so much.
Yeah.
So he's a funny dude, and he's a sweet guy. I love Keenan. But yeah, he's very much in that vein that he needs a foil. And I always forget Brandon's last name. The kid that played Jesse. Right, thank you. Brandon was good in the first one, but he was very much not the focal point. The first one was about Gordon's redemption and Charlie's ascension to that spot, right? Jesse and Terry were just kind of in the background because their dad was one of the guys that was one of the parents that was deeply involved in the process. This one, Jesse very much gets more of a prominent role because he's playing off of Russ. And Russ being introduced to the team, and that knuckle puck, which I tried so hard as a kid to make that shit happen in street hockey and on the ice when I wasn't falling on my ass. There you go. Welcome to Good Burger. Never could pull it off quite as well as Kenan Thompson could.
And nobody could pull it off as good as Kenan Thompson could, because it was all editing and movie magic.
No.
But absolutely, when I was playing street puck,
hell yeah,
I
man.
did a knuckle puck too.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't go in the goal for me.
God knows I didn't have the puck control of Dwayne, so I had to do something else.
Yeah. No, if we had the puck control of Dwayne on the actual Kings, we probably won the Stanley Cup in '93.
That's fair.
Well, if
better than Gretzky,
if you
had had the puck control,
they would have won the cup that a few years later.
Shush.
If you had the puck control of Dwayne on the Kings, you probably would have won a cup in '67.
He went old school.
No, hey, not wrong though. But yeah, you mentioned the cameos. Freaking just NHL players alone: Neely, Robitaille, Chelios, and of course Wayne Gretzky. But all these athletes, man, Luke Gaines, Christy Yamaguchi, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in this. He's retired at this point, and he's trying to be sold a shoe by Bombay, which is freaking hysterical.
Air Bombay loafer.
Air Bombay.
Kids who want to coach.
I was like, I need that Air Bombay now, because I was always a better coach than I was a player, ever.
For real.
But yeah, D2.
I just don't think Nike could get away with selling them for $250, $75, $60 maybe.
Lesson learned years later, trying to mass market the Marty McFly pump shoe. It's like, nope, not going to go very far. But yeah, this one, again, you mentioned that the same movie. No, first one is about Gordon's redemption from that horrible occurrence in his life, about that missed shot in the playoffs. This one is about everybody coming together. This one's about Gordon getting his head inflated again and coming back down to earth with a distraction in the fire barrel. It's about everybody getting that LA inflation and then going, yeah, we're not as good as we thought we were because we got too big for our shit. It's a great, much more of a moral compass story, which is there anything more Disney than a moral compass story? Jesus Christ. And then, again, the plot device of a bigger, badder, more facially endowed bad guy. Great Disney stuff right here. It's perfect.
Absolutely. Which brings us to our number one. Take it away, Dori.
So our number one movie, and it's number one, honestly, all four of us had this movie on our top 10 list. And we're going back to baseball. Rather, ladies baseball, women's baseball. Back from 1992, the great Gary Marshall with A League of Their Own. Actually, Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall.
I don't see it. Penny directed it. Gary's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, yeah, that's right. Penny directed it. Gary's in it. Father-daughter deal again. I love it when they do stuff together. You've got, it's basically the first women's baseball league, which started during World War II because all the men were drafted to go to war and they wanted to keep some kind of sport for people to turn into, so they weren't all just focused on the war.
Right.
Yes, great movie. Very great movie.
So good.
It's got, Gary Marshall is the founder of the league, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
You've got Gina Davis, Lori Petty, John Lovitz, Tom Hanks, a very drunken Tom Hanks who finally gets his act turned around at some point. And Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell are all a part of this movie. These women, they have their challenges. They have, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, brother, sister. Thank you. They all have their challenge they have to overcome. You have somebody falling in love. You have the sibling rivalry going on. One of the ladies on the team actually learns to read in the process, thanks to Madonna's smut books. I mean, just well,
I forgot it was those books.
What do you call?
Got me off guard. Sorry.
Smut books. I mean, okay, when she's learning to read on the bus and she's reading the book, it's a trashy romance novel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trashy romance
I
novel.
forgot about that part. That's
But it's funny. It's great, but it's funny. It doesn't matter what she's reading. She's learning to read.
That's right. Exactly. That's right.
I mean, my kids learn to read playing RPGs. So
it's
for those who are not in the know, role-playing games and Magic the Gathering. That's how my kids all learned how to read. So whatever it takes.
Exactly. Reading is fundamental. We don't knock the hustle on how you get there as long as you get
That's
there.
Right, damn it.
Exactly. And I mentioned Tom Hanks's character. He's actually the coach of this team, the Peaches.
Yep. Rockford Peaches.
Rockford Peach. Yep. Rockford Peaches.
And the Racine Bells.
And the Racine Bells. Yes. Those are your two main rivals. But Tom Hanks' character starts out as very drunk, doesn't even try to coach the team. He's a has-been, and he's just thrown in there to give him whatever. Mm-hmm. And at some point, Gina Davis's character actually gets him to start turning around and redeeming himself. King Mike, you've never seen this. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It is a classic movie. Again, it's based very loosely based on history.
Yeah.
I particularly like the realism of the movie because a lot of the girls had never picked up a baseball bat or a baseball glove, and they actually learned how to hit. They learned how to field. They learned how to throw. And a small little trivia bit, the scene where it's in the dugout and one of the girls has this huge bruise on her leg. That is a real bruise. That was a real injury that she got from sliding, and
it's because they wanted the girls they wanted them to be girls and wear skirts. They didn't wear the pants like the men did. So they're doing all this in skirts and legitimately getting all these cuts, bruises, and all that good stuff.
And of course, Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell, best of friends, the two of them together.
Such a comedy team.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And of course, the iconic scene, when she's talking about her blouse flying open and Rosie with the line. You think there's men that haven't seen that in this? I mean, who hasn't? It's Madonna, okay? If that was ad-libbed, perfect.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, but one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the memorial.
Yeah.
The whole
at the very end. Yep, that was good. Yeah.
Very, very, very touching. Very touching.
The whole movie threads very well. Two scenes that stand out for me are, and they're complete opposites of the spectrum, unfortunately. The one where I forget the character's name, forgive me, but she gets the notice from the War Department about her husband.
Yes.
Betty.
That shit just wrecks me. Always has, even more so now. It's brutal. The other one is not the actual scene, it's the follow-up where Jimmy's given Evelyn the business for crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yes. Great scene, but the one after that later in the movie where he's going to talk to her again and it's just like,
oh yeah, during the championship game.
Yes.
That is the parental meme I always use for Dylan now. It's like, you know what you did, right? Okay, cool, thanks.
You're still missing the cutoff player. I want you to work on that until next season.
I want you to work on that the off season. He just gets like this, like 3 shades of red, like.
Yep. It is great. It is great.
You can feel Jimmy trying not to. Okay, I can't explode her. I'm gonna make her cry again. I can't have that. I need to not explode here, but God damn it, Evelyn hit the cutoff, man. Anyway.
And it's an early scene when they are they're going to basically like an etiquette school.
Oh God, that's so good.
What do you suggest? A lot of night games. It's like, that is so mean, but that's also very true to the era.
Yeah, well, that and
and that's very important, is that there's certain things in this movie and in a lot of period pieces that this day and age with our culture would cause a movie to get ridiculed or canceled, but you have to take it in the context
of the time period,
the time in the era.
Yes.
And Marla was not a pretty girl.
No.
Everybody else that played in that league had sex appeal.
Yes.
But you could not deny Marla's talent.
Right.
No. And I liked that, and I had forgotten this till I watched it pretty recently, that Marla's father in this movie went on to play Jonathan, the only version of Jonathan Kent that doesn't die in any Superman movie, anything. Because Jonathan and Martha are on the entirety of Lois and Clark. He's the only version of Jonathan Kent that I'm aware of that did not die in any subsequent chapter of the series, a movie, the comics, whatever. So
I love the fact that you brought up John Lovitz, Dori, because a lot of people forget about him in this movie.
Yep.
They always think about, Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, Lori Petty, Madonna, Rosie.
Yep.
He's not a major part in the movie,
but
he has a major, So you don't see him in the movie a lot, but he has a major pivotal part in the movie.
Yep.
I didn't say that.
As does, in my opinion, 2 other actors. Bill Pullman, Donnie's husband.
Yes.
And I did have to Google the gentleman's name. Mark Holton.
Yes.
Best known for playing Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but grown-up version is Stillwell there at the
Yep.
Yes.
That was cool for me to see him in this, because everybody knows me and my love for Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I was
growing up with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Teen Wolf, where he subs on the team with Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
And then seeing him pop up there at the very end as the grown-up version of Stillwell. It's like, okay, cool. And I always mention this when this movie comes up. The theme song done by Madonna.
Oh, this used to be my playground.
playground.
Oh, that
The
song.
last song
cried.
of hers, the last song of hers that I truly loved.
Yep.
I have cried listening to that song.
Yeah.
Because it has resonated, not necessarily for me for baseball, but I
It's
have one
life,
of those
yeah.
songs, you know?
Yeah. Yep. See, I'll argue about the favorites because I actually liked the hell was the one in Austin Powers, "Beautiful Stranger." I like that song personally.
That's a good one.
It was good, but for me it wasn't as good.
Okay. No.
You have to keep in mind the era here. Madonna had started to get on this real over-sexualized kick.
Yes.
Things like Vogue and Justify My Love.
Right.
So for her to dial it back down with this before going into the super sexed up version of Madonna that she became a few years later, Bad Girl, Erotica.
Right.
This really didn't fit
It's very poignant,
the era of her music, which is what makes it stand out.
No, I agree.
Like the Dick Tracy soundtrack, with the exception of Vogue, which is also from that.
Yes.
All the other music she did on that soundtrack did not fit the era of Madonna that we were being exposed to at that time.
No.
So it made it stand out.
Right.
Yeah, I am not saying in any way that "Beautiful Stranger" was better than this. I'm just you mentioned that's your last Madonna song
that I truly loved.
Truly loved. Okay, that's fair. I for some reason I heard liked because this phone is what it is. So truly loved, I can get behind, but I like "Beautiful Stranger," just not as much as "Used to Be Playground." Also, the theme song that the girls sing, the theme of the league, just a great little ditty. I love it. So, and again, based on true life events, because this actually did happen, because a lot of the guys were going over in World War II because we had to beat the evil Nazis and sorry for the slur here, the big bad Japs. Like, we had to go take care of these guys. Like, nah, man, we need our baseball, and we got it thanks to the ladies doing their thing. So it was cool.
Yeah.
And Gotta draw the parallel here between Jimmy and Bombay.
Yes.
Considering that those are both our number one, number two, men wanted no part of their assignment, alcoholics.
Yep.
That eventually, once they see the error of their ways, begin to turn that corner, get that redemption, come around to the point where they excel and they actually teach their charges about a thing or two.
Yep. Disgraced in their field, respectively, because Bombay had been such a hotshot peewee hockey player and then just abandoned the sport completely. Jimmy, of course, let the alcohol killed his ability, but even still. So again, good. That's why he does the movie reviews every day. Gets to shit like that right there.
Indeed. We have come to the end of our list. Great job, everybody. What have we missed? What should else have been on this list that we had a great talk about before? Any further honorable mentions we want to quickly do to round out the time? Like, what else should we have put in there?
I will say that there were still a good chunk of movies that were in contention for honorable mention that didn't even come up because we made a point to only have one honorable mention each, because otherwise show going to go even longer.
Oh, yeah.
But you figure things like The Gridiron Gang, Ali, were all in there in honorable mention contention.
Color of Money.
Color of Money, yeah.
The
No
Natural.
Bull Hustling, The Natural.
The
Brian
Natural wasn't
Stahl.
even on that list, but that's a good point. The Natural is underrated by today's generation.
Yes, it is. And that was actually on one of my lists.
Yep.
As well as The Replacement.
Another one that doesn't get enough love, I think it just came out at the time there was so much saturation, particularly of football-themed movies at that point, that it kind of just got lost in the sauce, if you will.
Yeah.
King Mike, since you joined a little bit later, we'll go ahead and we'll reiterate. What we did was each one of us submitted our own list.
Right.
And then I took the lists and compiled based on how many lists a movie appeared on,
Right.
where a movie appeared on the list, etc.
Yep.
And then ranked them that way. D2 The Mighty Ducks actually appeared at number 1 on 2 of our lists, but it only appeared on 3 of the 4 lists.
Right.
Whereas A League of Their Own appeared on all 4 lists.
Yep.
The only movie to appear on all 4 lists.
Right.
So even though D2 The Mighty Ducks was number 1 for half of us, it wasn't popular enough to make every list and therefore be the number 1 movie.
Had it
League
been
of Their Own came in at number 2 on 2 lists. Ironically, the same people that had the Ducks at number 1 had League of Their Own as number 2. It came in at number 1 on one list, and then it came in kind of like middle of the pack on the other list.
right.
So, again, the fact that it was the only one to be on all 4 lists made it the clear contender for number 1 movie.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore, only other movie to appear on 3 lists.
Yep.
Hence why it ended up being number 3, because it was ranked lower on those lists than D2 The Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
Everything else only appeared on 2 people's lists.
Yep.
So it was all just a matter of where they were ranked on the lists. And the higher the rank, the higher the spot on the official list.
Yes. One.
I
Go
just
ahead,
thought of one movie that in one sport we did not know. I don't think anybody thought of it. Tobey Maguire's horse racing movie,
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
See, now you're thinking of.
I've never seen it, so that's why I didn't think of it.
Right.
I heard it was good. I mean,
But if you've heard it was good, then you can't rank it because you've never seen it.
I know. But, yeah.
So
it would be
therein lies
if
the other part of the problem for a lot of us.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would be like, Caddyshack, never seen it.
Never
Bad
seen
News
it.
Bears,
Seen it numerous
never
times.
seen it.
I haven't seen it in years. So
But I don't really think of it as a sports, I've never really thought of it much as a sports movie. Yes, it centers around a golf course, but it's not so much as around the game of golf, in my opinion.
Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Any Given Sunday,
I'm sorry.
another good one
never
that
seen
didn't
it.
make it. Yeah.
Never seen it.
So there's quite a few out there that other people may think would be better ranked, but got to see them to rank them.
Exactly.
So just in case my son or my brother ever watches this episode of Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dori Lou, Angels in the Outfield was an honorable mention contention. Okay.
Yes, it was.
Unfortunately, I didn't mention it on my list, so I will own that shit. I will take my shellacking when I get home. I do thoroughly love Angels in the Outfield.
Excellent.
I always
movie.
have. They still play the theme song for that movie over in California Adventure, and I'll hear it. I'll get a tear in my eye, but it's just not top 10.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful movie.
One that my son mentioned, which I didn't even think about, and I'm not sure how we would actually put this in contention, Air Bud.
I thought about Air Bud too. I really did.
I did too.
I had my daughter ask about the Air Bud movies. I've never seen any of them.
Me neither.
Lordy.
That's why it wasn't on my list.
Oh, okay. See, I have seen the first one, and I loved it. So,
well, the only Air Bud's the only one. The first one really matters because the rest was just direct to videos, and you didn't even know that the other ones came out.
doesn't matter what
exist.
platform they landed on.
They still
So.
exist.
They still exist. Damn it, they're still real to us. Damn it.
So yeah, let us know in the chat what we forgot, what your top 10s are. Talk to us. If we see something really good that we missed, then maybe we'll kick off the season premiere of Stat Boy Sports Bar next week with a couple that got left in the comments.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I like King Mike's comment, but again, we debated about professional wrestling.
Yeah,
it's like
because of the fact that it's predetermined.
Yeah, it's still
So
athletic.
It's not a sport. It's
right.
Sport entertainment.
Is there a movie about actual freestyle and wrestling? Is there?
Legendary.
Yes.
Legendary.
Doesn't mean it has to be a good movie, although I particularly like that movie. And no, that's
an actor that you can't see.
Yes. And see, I actually like.
My daughter likes to point out the picture of us with Cena. You can't see two people because I was erased from it, and then of course it's John Cena.
Good night, Jeff. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You know what? You can blame your niece for that one.
I know.
I love you, Natalie. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Have I not restored that picture and only post that one unless I'm doing a profile picture on my socials?
You have.
Kiss my ass with that shit. Jesus Christ.
Hey, tell her. She's the one that said it.
Well,
is she sitting there now?
She is, but the headset's in, so she.
Well, then we get our asses off air. Turn the damn camera around. Anyway.
So, moving right along.
Let's
take that left at the fork of the road here, and let's get to the shills so we can get out of here.
Yes.
Make sure you follow the Casa D18 Studios on the social medias.
Yes.
Renegade JJ Williams on Instagram, Casa D18 Studios on YouTube, ROWJJ Williams, and where the artist formerly known as Twitter, I guess now it's X. Because X gonna give it to you.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm still calling it Twitter.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out the rest of my movie reviews to wrap up the month here. Today's is being postponed until hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully we won't have to do a triple feature day. But, priorities over passions. It is
That's
what
right.
it is. But make sure you check out the rest of my reviews as they go up. Go back, check up the ones that are on demand. Make sure you check out the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel. Again, much like the other stuff, the NXT TakeOver 2018 may get pushed to the weekend just because I haven't had a chance to finish watching it yet. So this Thursday, what may end up going up is the match call.
Okay.
Me and Noah have already done for the WrestleMania 21 Money in the Bank ladder match and the cash-in by Edge from New Year's Revolution 06.
Very nice. Good to know.
Go to the community tab on the Casa page where you can vote on the polls, what you would like to see in the 2024 lineup for Renegades reviews. That's what it's currently looking at right now. Updated graphic. Same with which classic SummerSlam match would you like to see Noah and I do a retro call for? Updated graphics. So this one we definitely need to get a couple more votes on so we can break that tie.
I'm so glad 2014 didn't make it.
But that's an option to vote. I just think it's going to be the last poll.
Thank God.
But there are 3 polls that are going to go up over 3 weeks. The winners will then face off against Brett versus Davey from SummerSlam 92 to determine which one of the 4 matches we go for. This is the one that just dropped yesterday. We've already got 2 votes on it for the Rock Triple H SummerSlam ladder match. Do have Lesnar versus Punk on here, Cena, AJ Styles.
Yes.
Angle Mysterio, Brett versus Owen. So got a lot of good stuff still coming. And like I said, there is still one more poll that will drop next Monday. That's the one that's got Jeff's dreaded SummerSlam 2014 match on there.
I will tell you right now, if that match makes the poll as the poll winner, like the previous match one that I was volunteering for, I am volunteering for that shit.
I was going to say, you don't want to join us and call the action from was there live and in person perspective?
If you want to see I'll tell you what.
Here we go.
Y'all want to see Jeff Meacham on this member shit, and you want to get me on there and watch me literally melt into a complete puddle of despair and mayhem and chaos, then pop and talk wrestling tonight and super chat me, and I'll do it. There you go. I'll call it whether it wins or not. How about that? Somebody subject me to it. I'll do it for money. Damn, I need the money.
Super chats.
What happened?
How much do we have to get in super chats to make that happen?
Let's see. Today's show.
Got to set a goal, because if you say if people come in and super chat, you'll do it, and all you get like a $2
yeah.
super chat.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
fair.
For $2.
So you might
got to set goals. All right. Keep doing the chills. I'll get the number amount. Okay.
Well, you're the next chill to come up, sir. So
yes. All right. Of course I am. Okay. Of course, Talk Wrestling, the flagship, the mothership, if you will, baby. Every Tuesday, unless Aaron does something stupid like he do. 10 o'clock, 10:05 Eastern, 7:05 Pacific. After the East Coast airing of NXT on USA, hop over to the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, as well as No DQ and the Greg Cherry brand to catch all of the shenanigans. And speaking of the Greg Cherry brand, you can catch Greg and very likely myself tomorrow on the Greg Cherry Show, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. I'm not sure what we're going to be covering. Probably just whatever comes out of the mind of Greg Cherry, which is a scary place in and of itself. So
there you go. I am excited to announce that in less than a month, August 24th, I will be appearing on Jack of All Trades for the Greg Cherry brand.
There you go.
So I am finally going to attempt to test my knowledge there, see how I do. I did make a push to try to have it happen last year around my birthday. That did not happen.
Right.
A couple of shows that I watched, I would have defeated his guests and taken the title.
I know.
If I had played for it.
Yep.
So it'll be curious to see if I can become the Jack of All Trades champion.
There you go.
Add another championship to add to my collection, along with my fantasy hockey championship.
Which I was just about to talk about. Thank you. Yes.
Hold on. Let's get through the rest of the shills. Then you can do that. Because then we'll get to your guys' shills, your weekly delights, your shout outs, all that good junk.
All that shizit.
On Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Throwback Thursday for the Casa D18 Studios channel. All the classic content that you've come to know and love, and some of it that you dread on watching. Got a bunch of good stuff coming. Of course, Talk Wrestling, Dad's on Wrestling, Renegade of Wrestling, Stat Boy Rants, Double Down with Double A, No DQ and AV. And that's just the first couple hour block that usually goes up.
Yes.
Then you got the Indie Force podcast. You've got No DQ Review, the ATW View, and a classic episode of Open Mic Night, all coming up this Thursday. This Thursday, you actually get a double dose of Talk Wrestling, if you will, in Throwback Thursday, because you get your standard Talk Wrestling episode, and then Renegade of Wrestling begins, and Jeff takes the episode over for an impromptu episode of Talk Wrestling. So you get a double dose this week of Talk Wrestling. And then you get Dad's. So that's 3 doses of Jeff in just the opening block, and he's on the review. And he's on Open Mic Night.
And I'm on Dad's
probably a voice, and he's probably a voice in the background on Stat Boy Rants. For being honest, too.
Yes.
And speaking of Dads, this Friday.
Yeah, baby.
The top 10 solo era Beatles songs of all time. I am stoked for this.
Yes.
Because we will have a special guest dad on the show. My dad.
Yay!
Pop will be coming onto this show to do an episode as we discuss the top 10 solo Beatles songs. I already have his list so that I can try to find graphics for it. Just need to get Jeff's list and my list squared away. I don't know. Have you done your diligence yet, sir? Have you got your list?
I have been listening. I told you I was going to listen to it one more time and get the Beatles fresh, because it's a good thing we have so much shit with Jeff this week on throwback and throughout the week because Thursday I'm gonna be at Disneyland. God help me. So I won't be able to do a hell of a whole lot except enjoy the ambiance, which is never a bad thing. But on the way there, and on the way back, that playlist will be in effect.
There you go. And Thursday, I'm actually going to a concert in the park up here with Natalie.
Nice.
We're going to see A Hard Day's Night tribute band.
They are amazing.
That's a good
Concert in the
Beatles
park.
synergy. I like that. That's good.
So go get the little vibe going. They're not the Fab Four. Nobody's going to be the Fab Four. The Fab Four are like top tier. But if they can come 50%, 60%, 75% to capturing the magic that the Fab Four does, it'll be just as good.
Yeah. I've seen very few tribute acts that match the Fab Four on any band.
Yeah.
They are top notch, but I've heard Hard Day's Night is pretty damn good. So
yeah, they are good.
Then Saturday night shenanigans that are open mic night.
God help us.
What will the topics be? TBD. One thing I definitely know that we're going to be discussing is the rise in prominence of one Dirty Dom Mysterio, the first and to date only man to, in a week, main event Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. All three matches were title matches at that. Challenged for the tag titles on Raw, won the North American title on NXT, successfully defended the North American title on SmackDown. So all the hatred that Dirty Dom has been getting over the last year might be about time to get the fuck over it. Just throwing that out there. And speaking of North American championships, the Great American Bash on Sunday. Myself and Noah Foster calling the action as NXT, my NXT, presents their next PLE.
Yep. So you asked me earlier
Hale versus Tiffany Stratton in a submissions match.
Oh.
Let's go chase you, baby.
That's right. You asked me for dollar amount earlier. Between tonight's Talk Wrestling, my end of the Greg Cherry Show presentation tomorrow, and open mic night, and dads. We're going to do dads. And then the Great American Bash, which will be the last live show I do before the end of the month. I need $45 to get over
$50.
So for each show, $10. Just make sure we get over that mark. So if I get a single $10 donation on each of the live shows I'm doing the rest of this week.
No Meech's Musings next Monday?
No, I will not be here.
Okay.
And if I am, then we'll add that to the till, whatever. But as of now, I won't be. So yeah. If I hit that mark, $10 each show, whether it wins the poll in the Casa or not, we will find a way to get Noah and JJ to call that particular match, and I will sit through it, and you will watch me die on the air. Roddy always said it was good for business anyway, so it's okay.
There you go.
There it is.
All right, let's get to y'all's social medias.
Follow Dori Lou and I on Instagram, and I'm calling it the Twitter. I am not calling it X. I think I'll just quickly say that is the stupidest thing in the world. Follow me on Instagram at StatBoy13 and on Twitter at LBStatKid1977. Follow Dori Lou at Dori Lou on Instagram and Hathaway Lou on Twitter. And this is all leading up next Tuesday, the big one. We're coming back. Tuesday's season 4 premiere. We're going to go back. We're going to keep the normal the normal routine, but we finally get to talk about NFL football, and we've got fantasy announcements to make. We've got returns of contests left and right. We already have some great topics coming up for football that have been happening. There was breaking news today with the New York Giants. Stalemate has been broken in that, so we'll touch on that. And I know that the debate team featuring Zach and the Cleveland combatant, trust me, it'll be better than a prize fight with those two going in it. And I cannot wait. I want to see everybody there as we talk about hockey, football, tennis, golf, WNBA, NASCAR, you name it, we talk about it.
And if we're not covering it, just shoot us a message and we'll look into it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is the sports bar, and we are trying to make sure we are covering sports. Although our primary is football and then hockey, we're trying to make sure we get everybody what everybody wants to hear about.
And I left out
all sports matter.
Exactly.
Women's World Cup soccer is going on. Group play is happening, and I'll just quickly throw out a quick stat. All with the exception of one team, the South Africans. Every team has been shut out that has lost. Two matches have come up in a tie. Everybody else, zeros across the board. It's the most one-sided World Cup this year.
Yeah. Jay, I threw my updated socials because I forgot to plug it earlier, but I threw it up there at the very end of the list because I'm not promoting Twitter or X or whatever because I'm not fond of their changes. As of the end of next Monday, the 31st, I will only be using that strictly for shills. And I'm not going to be live streaming on Twitter. It's not even worth it to me. So there's the updated graphic. Threads instead of Twitter, but @_Jeff Meacham on Instagram and Threads, Facebook /Jeff Meacham Network, @Jeff Meacham on YouTube, and our merchandise available both on Spring and on Pro Wrestling Tees. Jeff Meacham Network on both. So there you go.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming into this special show. I'd like to thank everybody who is watching along and all those that are watching it on demand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. That is my unofficial shout out for the week, as it always is. I want to see everybody here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Season 4 premiere. I am extremely proud of my family to let us do this. And, better late than never. We were just talking about you.
To be fair, it wasn't a widely announced thing as far as I know. So... it is what it is.
We did put this together at the very end of the season 3 finale, so we didn't really promote it that much, but it is out there. And Josh,
I just have one thing for Mansfield.
What's that? Good way to end the show.
To be fair, the founder was tired of his own shit after that because I originally put everything up, and I set it for 7 o'clock. And then made the graphic that said 7 o'clock, and JJ went, "That's great." Time's wrong, though. I went,
I was saying, Josh, that you and Zach are better than a prize fight when it comes to football debates. That's what I was saying. It wasn't anything derogatory. I would not do that to you. You are my brother just as much as everybody else in the multiverse of media. Yes, JJ?
Does Dori Lou have a delight for this week?
Dori Lou always has a delight.
Okay. Oh, by all means.
I wanted to make sure because he was saying great way to end it. So I was like, does he not have a delight? Okay.
By all means, go right ahead.
As long as we've been roommates and living together, how often he forgets sometimes I have something to say. I think I should go Gib slap him at the end of the show.
Do it.
Save it for next week. No, save it for next week.
I'll do it off the air.
No.
Do it on the air. Then we can maybe get a super chat. No. If you want to see Dori Lou,
I'll tell you what. I'll do this. If we can get a $10 super chat while I'm doing my weekly delight, I will go in and Gib slap that boy.
We don't condone.
Not that we're, we don't condone violence, but this is just love.
Okay. That's right.
All right. So, my weekly delight, as you know, I try to keep positives going out there and helping to encourage everybody else to find positives as well. And this is something I had to learn. A few other people still need to learn. And I coach this when I am working with new people I work for Ripley's in Gatlinburg, where, by the way, Thursday I'll be at the Aquarium of the Smokies. Come see me if you're in the area. But it speaks to a lot of people on, remember that attitude is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Okay. So with that in mind, and I found this on Facebook, and it's on a very nice picture of one of my favorite actors, Morgan Freeman. Self-control is strength. Calmness is mastery. You have to get to a point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of someone else. Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. Don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence.
Professor Hathaway has spoken.
Remember, again, like I narrowed it down to 10% what happens to you, 90% of how you react.
My reactions are my downfall. I will admit that till I'm blue in the face and I'm a cranky old wrinkly old man. It is true.
100%.
These two, we know these two would partially antagonize me intentionally to get a reaction out of me, but the majority of it was a teaching lesson that I never learned. So,
because in the words of one of Jeff and I's favorite movies, Back to the Future, he's an idiot. Comes from upbringing. Parents probably idiots too.
Josh, I am not that old. Shut up.
Be nice, Lorraine, Josh. Remember, I'm the oldest one in this room.
Lorraine, you ever have a kid that acts like that, I'll disown you.
Indeed.
Okay, no, one of my favorites is from a comedian that we don't really talk about anymore since he got into lots of trouble. But in one of his stand-up shows, he tells his kid, I'll kill you and make another one who looks just like you.
There you go.
I changed that, and I would change that to I could kill you, and I've already got another one who looks just like you, because I mean I have twins.
Fair. That's fair.
Not that I would actually do that. It was just, the line was always a good one.
There are those days.
Indeed. So take Dori Lou's lessons to heart. That I'm talking to myself at this point. Stop reacting, and everything will be fine. We will see you all next week. Be there for the Stat Girl, for the Dads on Wrestling, for everybody who did this show. I love you all. Thank you. Until next week, Stat Boy and Stat Girl out.